My wife wants a divorce and I don't. This may be a bit of a long story, so please be patient with me, and if you have questions or find gaps that need to be filled, please just ask or let me know and I will try my best to answer or fill in the missing information. Anyhow, a couple of days ago my 50M wife, 47F, of over 21 years comes to me and says she wants a divorce. She says she doesn't love me anymore. I was quite shocked to say the very least. I know our relationship hadn't been the greatest, but I didn't think we were anywhere near divorce. I've dealt with mental illness my entire life. When we were young and first married, I was able to control it to some extent with medicine, but never had much luck with counseling. As a result of my illness, it became very difficult to hold down a job for very long. For some reason, when I was at a job for any certain length of time, my anxiety would build to a crippling point and I would nearly come to tears right on the job. I'm a blue-collar worker, so such emotions are just not accepted in the trades where I was employed. One of the major trades I was involved in was welding. I've been a welder on and off for some time. Like I said, however, my anxiety would build to a crippling point that I would find it impossible to go to work and would usually have to end up visiting the psychiatrist to get my emotions under control again. I went through several jobs with the same results happening each time. I tried so hard for so long to be the breadwinner for our family, but I failed each and every time. I even switched career paths and went to commercial driving school to learn how to drive big rigs. I did that for a while, but with each job the same paralyzing anxiety would creep in again and again, except this time it was worse because I was out on the road all alone with no support from my family. I went through several of these jobs as well. Each time a job ended, my wife and I could both see the devastating effects it had on our children in learning their dad had lost another job. I'm sure they felt their foundation shift every time it happened. What they didn't know, however, was that I was losing these jobs because of my mental illness. Finally, my wife and I decided that my days as our family provider needed to come to an end and she would become the main breadwinner for the family. She is a nurse after all, and made more money than I could possibly make. The kids were all in school, so it's not like they were just little and still needed her at home every day. So, I guess I became Mr. Mom and the roles kind of reversed. I wasn't totally out of the workforce yet, however, as I cut and sold firewood for a few extra dollars each year. I tried working on the firewood just while the kids were at school so I could be home when they got home from school. This arrangement worked for some time. A few years ago, however, my medication stopped working altogether and I became intensely ill. It was to the point I would lay in bed all day and cry, never leaving my room because I didn't want the kids to see me like that. The depressing weight I felt on my soul was beyond any pain I had ever experienced in my life. Many times I thought about just ending everything. The only thing that kept me alive were thoughts of my children. I visited my psychiatrist 3 times a week trying to find something that would bring normalcy back to my life. I've never been that hopeless before, nor have I since. Finally, after about 6 months of endless agony and trying different medications, we found a combination that seemed to work somewhat. At least I was able to function. I never did regain my full capacities, however. This last episode left me broken. I am but a shadow of what I once was. Not only that, but one of the medications that helped my come around was Seroquel. Seroquel is a very powerful medication that brings with it a whole host of side effects. One of the most prominent side effects I have, which is probably an interaction between all of the medications I take, is that each morning I feel as though I'm waking up with a hangover. This hangover can last for many hours and makes doing anything at all very difficult. I hate it with a passion, because I used to be a very early morning riser and just loved the morning time. When gathering firewood, I was up by 3:30 a.m. most days and I loved it. Early morning just seemed to be my favorite time. Now, these medications have made that a distant memory as I struggle to overcome this hangover each morning. It has also caused me to gain a great deal of weight. Now, I'm so out of shape that returning to work, at least to the jobs I'm trained to do, is all but impossible. I just don't have the stamina to do so. With that last episode, or breakdown, whatever you wish to call it, I also don't know whether I've decided to go on living or not. Sometimes I'm afraid it will happen again and I don't know if I'm strong enough to go through it again. Some days I feel like not moving forward at all. Why try if I'm going to feel this way the rest of my life? So, having given all this background, I have not been the best at keeping up with all the chores around the house. My wife has talked to me several times about needing to keep up with certain chores and I admit I've been much less than stellar at doing my part. Because of my weight gain and letting my physical appearance go, I'm rather embarrassed to be out among people. This has led to me missing some events my children have been involved in and not taking part in some activities with my wife. I have a difficult time keeping up with personal hygiene and that is another reason I don't go out much. For some reason, I find it very difficult and even taxing to shower in our little shower, so I can go quite some time without doing so. Yes, I realize this is very gross. My strength has deteriorated to such a point that even standing still for periods of time begins to hurt my back. All of this has led to her wanting to get a divorce. I didn't really think that anything I did, or failed to do, would merit that kind of strong desire. I still love my family fiercely and it would crush me to be away from them. So, what should I do?